fellow inchers, welcome back to the channel. Today we are on episode 2 of the vampire build. So far, if this is your first video, we've gotten all the cockpit complete. I know the camera's not the best, but unfortunately that's what I've got. So I've got to do with what I can. So let's get on with the rest of this build. Well, by the looks of it, we've got to build the part of the intakes for the jet engine. Let's get on to time lapse, and go from there. Right, fellow inchers, I have just put the air intakes together. One moment, let's see if we can get that focused more. That's it, yeah, that's the air intakes. It's right. We're not far from actually putting the actual fuselage together. What I've done is, while I was painting, I have painted the insides of the actual fuselage, as it says in the instructions. Yes, I know I didn't paint the inside of this air intake. It's simply because literally no one's going to see any of it. There's literally no point. So, right, let's go back to time lapse while we prepare one part of the fuselage. Because there's one more thing left to go on to the fuselage before we put it all together. So let's get on with it. Right, fellow rangers, let's get this fuselage together. What I've done is, because I was since my last model build that I did, I've been putting my aircraft on little stands like this. It's simply so that I can do whatever I like with them. So literally I don't have to have the undercarriage down. I can have them so that they're in landing position, ready to land. Who knows? This is up to me. So, time to put the fuselage together. But, right. Let's have a look at this. I may as well do it while I'm not on time lapse, as you might miss something that time lapse don't get. I'm only adding in glue on the actual points where the other part of the fuselage is going, because essentially if you can try to use as little glue as possible, well, then you don't get it spewing all out, and then you got to somehow then rub it all down so it doesn't look like you put it together with glue. Because essentially when you're building the aircraft, after you don't want it looking like a model kit, you want it to actually look like an actual vampire. See, the fuselage is coming together lovely. Now, literally all I gotta do now is get the actual thing in place. Look, it's not lined up slightly enough. I just gotta get that lined up. Might add a little bit of glue, more glue once, because essentially these kits are not exactly planned for when you're using stands. And the whole thing of it is that essentially you don't have a stand. And the other thing I do find that this is the part where you need closed pegs. The problem is you gotta find the right one that will actually do the job you want it to do, not just look pretty. My apologies if you can't see, but I'm trying my best to get this done so that I don't damage the aircraft, the actual fuselage itself, and get it so that you can see how I'm getting on. A little tab of glue there just to help, because behind the cockpit itself now is a little gaping hole. So if we hold that there for a minute while the glue is setting, we shall be able to then have a look at how far this aircraft has gotten since episode 1. And typical, nothing ever goes easy. But if things was easy, we wouldn't do it. Fortunately, I have an elastic band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try that method on it, because by the looks of it, I can't get it to... typical. After a little bit of fiddling, you can see the fuselage is together with its stand. It's coming together quite well. Fair play. Looking pretty good. Not far. It's starting to look like a vampire. Let's get on with a little bit more before the end of this episode. Okay, fellow Rangers, last thing to do now before we end it for today. We will get the air intakes that would be for the engine on, as essentially we got a little bit of painting to do after this, and I don't really want to be chancing too much with the body of the aircraft, simply so that I don't break nothing while it's still setting. So literally all I got to do now, which is glue on front of the air intakes of the engine, and then insert the air intakes for the engine. My apologies once again if you can't see, but it is a juggling act between getting good content plus getting the actual aircraft to be built. Well, then of course you want it to be built. Well, because that's the whole point of this mini-series. There we are. Actually, I think you've been good. That's what it looks like so far. I think as you've been so good, and you have been watching this, if you have made it this far, it means you've been very good. You deserve a little treat, I think. And that is the last bit, I think, of the aircraft have to be fitted, which is only the jet nozzle, or B1. If you hear my phone going off in the background, it's called I'm possibly organising something else for the channel, but it's only time will tell on that one. Well, I'm just seeing if something that I can work out will pan out. Look, and then that was definitely B1. I know it's definitely B1. Let's see, let's just double check for my own peace of mind, because yep, it was B1. And let's just make sure that there's nothing sticking on it to stop it from fitting, because we don't want it. We don't want that. We want it to fit where it needs to be happily. And next time we will paint it. We won't do it now, as we want it all to set nicely. As we want it to be one of the best vampires around, or one that I can do anyway. And then the final episode of this mini-series is when we talk about this particular aircraft, the history of the Vampire, and what I have found out about this particular Vampire that we are building. I have managed to find a lot of information about this particular aircraft from the registration number. And pretty much, well, the registration number I've been able to find thanks to the transfers is November Zulu 5710. And it has served in the New Zealand Air Force, but that's all I will say for now, as we don't want to ruin the last episode. This mini build is coming up really well. Well, I am quite chuffed with how it's turning out. We got the pilots, which I'm tempted to call the two Ronnies. I know they're not New Zealand names, but Welshman making a model kit for YouTube isn't probably normal either. I'll probably get hate in the comments for that one, but still, anyway, I hope if you have liked today's video, please put a like and a comment on it, because likes because it makes me feel that I know that people are actually liking the videos. Comment because I always make a point of reading every comment regardless of what is going on at the time. I make a point of reading it because it comes straight to my mobile phone. And lastly, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. The bell icon is so you don't miss out on any videos. And subscribing is so that I can reach my personal goal of hitting 300. Hopefully before the new year, but I can't see that happening, but we live in hope. But till the next time, Lone Rangers, I will leave you with Project Vampire. Till the next time, Lone Ranger signing off.